all.
Welcome to the after show at Aftermarket. How are you?
I'm fine. It's great to be here. It's the 11th time.
11th time, Coen. 11th time. This is the last of the conversations I've been doing. Save the favourite till last. For those that are watching at home that haven't had the joy, across 11 years, I don't know how they wouldn't, but haven't had the joy of knowing you, please introduce yourself.
My name is Coen Jeukens. I work for a company called ServiceMax, now part of BTC. And pretty much for 30 years, I've been in the service domain. And I once said, well, I've got a service heart and some sales DNA. And that's what I'm trying to inject into a lot of conversations.
Service heart, sales DNA. Quite ahead of the game with that. We saw that today, didn't we?
Yeah.
A lot in the conversation. We're starting to see the sales DNA conversation, especially in the aftermarket.
Yeah.
The importance of it is becoming increasingly underlined, perhaps in double red.
Yes. If we talk to a lot of our prospects, we see that one of the most important business drivers for these sort of OEM organizations is we need to grow our service revenue.
Yeah.
So for many years, we've operated our organization, our service organization, as a cost center. That's a long time past. We need to go to the next level. We need to go to a more revenue model. Whether you call it servitization or more service offerings, the growth of service revenue, especially in relation to the EBIT or the margin contribution of services, it is paramount to the survival of other organizations.
Lisa at the beginning Lisa's done a wonderful job posting today, as have all of our speakers and all of our facilitators and all of our delegates. Because the whole point, we have 50, it's that wonderful group of 53 senior service leaders all prepared to share ideas. Lisa touched on at the very beginning. She showed the agenda for 2013 and the agenda for 2012. I, at the end, touched on the fact that everything was changed and nothing was changed. Now, when you talk about servitization, I think it's changed a huge amount. I think the conversation we were having 10 years ago, I think the nuts and bolts are the same, but I think the mechanisms have changed. What do you think?
I fully agree with you, Chris. I think we're using the word service excellence, servitization, we're using it a lot. But on the other hand, when we're having the conversation behind closed doors with a lot of organizations, we see that service basics is as equally important. It is underlying for me, and it is often even essential element for organization to move towards the direction of servitization. And even if we use words like servitization, we can talk about from a seller and a buyer perspective. So if you are an OEM and you want to go into the direction of servitization, of course you can build your capability to deliver those type of services, but there's always this element, is the customer willing to buy these services? Absolutely. So I believe that a lot of service organizations, they can put this word servitization as a dot on the horizon to work towards, and I think the journey itself is very important and valuable for a lot of organizations. The fact that, will it mean that all our service contracts will be servitized? Definitely not. I think that a lot of customers, when they buy services, when they buy the products and services from your organization, that some of them say, well, I only want to buy the products and I need reactive break services because the rest I will do myself. Other type of customers might walk the entire path.
Yeah, it's music to my ears. This has been a drum been banging quite loudly, as you know, for a while. The journey to servitization, the journey to be able to deliver outcome-based services, which all the time I'm picking up people and saying that is not service, that is an outcrop of servitization, not the same thing. But that journey means that every layer, whether it's still the reactive break fix, is better, and we can now offer this capability, but not all our clients will need it. 100% engaged. Good, I've known you for a long time. I've known you pre-ServiceMax, I've known you with ServiceMax, I've seen you advise companies, great companies, in the recent years, helping them on their service journey. I've seen you devise incredibly wonderfully complex service solutions. I'm sure many viewers, certainly from the field service news side, will recognise the work that you did at Schiphol, for example.
Yep.
So it's always a pleasure to pick your brains and know what's going on and to catch up. Now, I know that you knew that there were 50 people.
Yep.
I know that you knew that there were going to be 50 senior service leaders that you were going to be speaking to. What I want to know is, what was the one message that you wanted to get across to them?
Indeed, at an event like organized by Kopperberg, they are able to assemble a fantastic crowd of, in this case, 50 service leaders. And when we ask these service leaders, what is important to you? What is your business imperative? What do you want to get out of it? If you start your transformation journey, it's typically 4 things. I need to reduce costs, I need to increase service revenue, I need to work with customer satisfaction, loyalty, customer experience, and I need to keep me out of jail card. Compliance. Compliance is ever increasing. So those are the terminologies I hear the service leaders talking at this event. And now there's a comma and there is a word but. And if we see that when OEM organizations are buying service management solutions, those projects in 80 or 90% of the cases are led by the IT organization. And then we get a sigh, and then we see a message of lost in translation. So we know what is important for the business, and business is able to articulate what is important for them. And then when it comes, now do you walk the talk, or is your organization able to walk the talk? Then we see an IT organization managing the transformation project, and more often an IT organization is not managing a business transformation project, but they're managing a technology project. They're buying functions and features, and they're evaluating on price. And in that conversation, we see that often the business aspect of that conversation is lost. Now, this is what we saw today in our roundtable. We had our roundtable. We had 5 roundtables. We had 50 people coming along, and all of them told the same message. We know what we want as a business. We can see the tools out there. We know what we want to buy. But when push comes to shove, we're not the people that are making the purchase. It's other people. So how can we help the business to be more on an equal par level with the IT counterpart to say, this is important for the business. IT, I understand what you are doing, but whatever you decide from an IT perspective, it impacts the business. And ultimately, what the business needs should and could be leading.
So there's a couple of points on that to unpick. Number 1, every single organization we see that succeeds with any form of advanced service strategy does not look at any investment as a service-led environment. It is a business strategy. Number 2, and this is the question for you, what can ServiceMax or any of the other vendors who are in the sector, how much can I, service leader, turn around and say, cool, I get it, I want this, I understand the vision, help me sell this instantly. How much can we rely on you in that pre-sales period?
Well, I think the most important thing is, we touched on today in the conversation, is if you need a solution provider to give you the platform, the tools, and the business process support to serve loyal customers, to drive efficiency, to drive revenue, you need to ask 4 questions from a solution provider. Please sell me the software. That's easy. Please sell me the implementation, because the software needs to be implemented in the context. So far, I'm only touching 2 fingers or 2 aspects which are typically driven from the IT domain. Once the software has been installed by the IT department, it is handed over to the business or operations, and now you can use it. This is the deployment phase, the 3rd element, deployment and change management. And there we're coming into a void. What solution provider is capable of offering services to business leaders beyond the capabilities of the software, beyond the implementation? What solution provider is able to provide the support for change management and deployment. And even further, we know that when you buy a piece of software, there's so many tools in the box. Typically in the first phase of implementation, you might implement 40% of the tools inside the box. So there comes a moment of continuous improvement that you want to unlock the features, the potential inside the box beyond that. That means that your solution provider does not need only to sell you about the functions and features, he or she needs to understand your business.
Yeah.
Needs to understand your business language. And if the solution provider, beyond the functions and features and implementation, is able to talk your business acumen, your business language, and understanding the business requirements and the impact on cost, revenue, compliance, and customer satisfaction, then I think you've got a winner.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think an awful lot of organisations go about that the wrong way round. I think, if I'm honest, and I've said this to many of your peers, the technology should be the easy bit. Finding the company that understands what we need, what we will need, which I actually don't even know yet, and will be a partner with us on that journey. That is the bit.
I fully agree, and I think that if organizations, when they are on the verge of embarking on a transformation journey and are going out there to see what is possible, if they take only a small fraction of that element into the decision making and they're able to act on it, I think that when it comes to critical success factors about when do we see an installation of a transformation project succeed and when do we see it fail, I think those organizations really focus on the change management piece, the deployment piece, and the after sales, the business process type support. Those organizations we see thriving.
100%. I would recommend actually one of your former colleagues, Patrice Eberlein, got a series of fantastic articles. So I would recommend anyone who's looking at that change management aspect, look for those in the search because they are fantastic. My final question, Coen. You mentioned it was up this year 11th Aftermarket conference. You've been here almost as long as it's been in existence, I think. Why do you keep coming back? What makes Aftermarket such a special event?
For me, it is the level of engagement. I know there are conferences out there which have a much larger crowd, but in a larger crowd, your message gets a little bit diluted and it's more difficult to really reach out and to have a conversation with customers, prospects alike. That's what I like from Copenhagen. And I recall that last year I made a comment when everybody was talking about AI. Kopperberg already has AI for 11 years. But the definition is not artificial intelligence, it's actionable insights.
Fantastic. I like that. What a fantastic soundbite to leave on. Coen, much pleasure as always.